So, most of us admire and know Brene Brown and her amazing work. But what if you really knew how she became an undisputed thought leader, but still kept her day job? Let's break that down using the thought leader success stack. So, first and foremost, what you need to know about Brene Brown is before she's a thought leader, she is a professor at the University of Houston. She started her career as a researcher deep around the topic of something we all feel, and it's called shame. She became the foremost researcher about shame in the academic world, 20 plus years ago. And she realized that the solution to shame in all of her research after studying other human beings who were in various different capacities, whether they were stay-at-home moms or they were professionals in a corporate traditional job, or they were entrepreneurs, the big takeaway that she got was that shame is solved by our ability to be vulnerable. So when you think about Brene Brown, you think about shame and you think about vulnerability. So first and foremost, what you need to know is that if you want to be seen as a thought leader, whether you want to keep your day job, whether you want to build your personal brand alongside your day job, whether you're an entrepreneur and you want to make sure that beyond your daily hustle of like running your business and selling things, that you're actually elevating the way people see you and that you want to actually share your body of work through publishing a best-selling book, also publishing content that people actually want. I want you to understand that Brene Brown is actually just like the rest of us, and that's the good news. So the key that you need to understand is Brene Brown did not leave her day job, even though she has had numerous New York Times best-selling books. She has built a business model that has allowed her to do some freelance consulting, to actually building a certification program for leaders and doing corporate workshops. So from a brand authority perspective, she got a monster podcast deal with Spotify. Also got, blessed with what we call the golden wand of the Oprah effect, because her book was chosen as one of Oprah's picks the year that it came out. Now, what you also need to know about Brene is that she didn't have a New York Times best-selling book to begin with. She actually had a couple books that she published, including white papers and documents related to researching shame and vulnerability. And it wasn't until she had published a few of those that she became a New York Times bestseller. So with all of that said, what I need you to understand is that there are three categories that we can look at Brene's rise to thought leadership through. And that's what I call the thought leader success stack. The first stack is the best-selling book. In this case, Brene has now published numerous books. Two of her really most well-known ones are Daring Greatly and The Gifts of Imperfection. She even talks about, if you follow her on her podcast, she'll talk about how her whole approach to even writing these books was very laborious because she took very seriously the research, the case studies, and all of the ways that she wanted to connect the dots for people to be able to understand that shame is not something to be, pun intended, ashamed of, but actually that it's part of the human existence, and that by being more vulnerable, we could actually make shame our friend and be able to lead better in our homes and at work. So in terms of the success stack, the best-selling book that she has, or books that she has, is based on her body of work. And that's the key, right? A lot of times you're told, make an AI book or make something that people will want to buy. And our argument for thought leadership is that thought leadership is about your body of work. It's about your craft. It's about what you actually know, and trusting that people want that. And Brene trusted that. And again, she didn't see herself as an entrepreneur. She didn't even see herself as let's call it a corporate employee. She saw herself as an academic researcher, a professor at the University of Houston. And again, she's still a professor at the University of Houston, which goes into the second part of the success stack, which is brand authority. As I mentioned before, by being committed to writing about what she cared about, what she researched, what she had experience in, that allowed for more people to trust it, and it allowed for aligned brand partnerships to occur once her body of work started getting published. And in that case, as I mentioned, she got massive podcast reach from two actually invested in podcasts. And she had a viral TED Talk. She's had a couple, but the one you've probably watched is the one about the gifts of imperfection. And then she had this Netflix special, and she's a well-known, self-proclaimed massive introvert. She's even had some cameos on TV shows and whatnot because, her work as a professor at the University of Houston has gone mainstream because of her ability to write these books based on her experience. So her brand authority exploded because she was committed to writing a best-selling book based on what she actually knows. Finally, what happened was it allowed her to open up what I call stack 3 in the success stack, which is your business model. And again, she's not leaving her day job, because if you knew how academia works, once you become a tenured professor, you definitely don't want to do that because there's so many benefits. I don't think even Brene Brown could have ever imagined what would open up because she committed to writing what she knew in books, and how it opened up her brand, and also her business model. It allowed her to stand up the Daring Greatly company, which provides consultants, certified consultants. So she had a certification program that deploys these people who are using her frameworks and her models into real businesses, small all the way to the big guys, in order to help leaders do better in the world of work, and hopefully be better people at home as well. You can see that when you think about Brene Brown, you might be putting her on a pedestal. A lot of people do, but what I want you to see is actually she's an everyday professor. Imagine yourself if you went to college. Think about your favorite professor in college, or think about your favorite high school teacher. They're everyday people just like you. It just so happened that Brene was so committed to sharing what she knows in a format that most people respect, which is a book. And because she was so thorough and committed to her craft, it opened up the other two success stacks, which are her brand authority and her business model. And now all of us are not just reading Brene's books, but we're sharing her books. We're talking about her books. If we've never even read her book, if you're in any kind of professional capacity or you're into personal development, you know her name. And if you want to be like Brene, then we have got to talk, because this is the type of leverage, because you are just like Brene Brown. I am just like Brene Brown. We just need the right strategic leverage to do it. And that's the kind of leverage we do inside of the Thought Leadership Collective, or we also call it TLC for short, where we use a best-selling book that's based on your craft, and then we optimize the content you produce and your business model so they're working for you, so that you can get that book out quicker, sooner, faster than what you have ever thought of before. So that way, you also have all the brand assets that you need, rather than trying to come up with a new-fangled thing to hustle for a new lead magnet that will convert. A book is the ultimate lead magnet. It's the ultimate business card. It's the ultimate way for you to get speaking gigs, opportunities with brand collaborations, just like Brene Brown. Well, at TLC, our goal is by 2030 to help 1,000 professional women publish best-selling books and use that body of work in their book as an asset to accelerate your influence and affluence. So if you want to be in the room for our next call, go ahead and subscribe to our Brandcast newsletter to be notified of our next open house. And that link is in the description below. I hope to see you there soon.